LK0, BRUYx43. We spell bankruptcy the short way. BRUYX. A lesson. Sex experiment. XY chromosome. Google. Pink Shorts is filmed in front of a live democracy republic, both exposed and approved. Thank you for writing MREL. A new safety video. Auditory upstation. Auditory nerve. A C beside phone. Due to time constraints, we are expediting our intro. Please refer to yesterday's LK1 BRUYX43 show. Let's get right to it. No promoting suicide. That's in violation of code 120.30. Promoting suicide attempt. Class C felony, 4 years in prison, and a $5,000 fine. Video is in progress.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just met again with my National Security Council on the campaign to destroy ISIL. I want to thank Secretary Carter and Chairman Dunford, who just returned from meetings with our coalition partners in the Middle East.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And for their continued leadership.
This is Pink Shorts, BRUYX43.
I last updated the American people on our campaign in June.
All AL experience, I love the song.
In Orlando. In the weeks since, we've continued to be relentless in our fight against ISIL. And
well, we have a movie to get to.
In Iraq, ISIL continues to lose territory. Tragically, however, we have also
what do you have to say about
ISIL still has the ability to direct and inspire attacks. So we've seen terrible bombings in Iraq and in Jordan, in Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Afghanistan.
Choose your favorite song.
Istanbul Airport, a restaurant in Bangladesh,
Top 100.
Bastille Day celebrations in a church in France, and a music festival in Germany. In fact, the decline of ISIL in Syria and Iraq appears to be causing it to shift to tactics that we've seen before, an even greater emphasis on encouraging high-profile terrorist attacks.
First a month, then a day. Choose your favorite song.
As always,
only
our
on
military,
social media.
Diplomatic, intelligence, homeland security, and law enforcement professionals are working around the clock with other countries and with communities here at home to share information and prevent such attacks. And over the years, they've prevented many. But as we've seen, it is still very difficult to
BRUYx. How are you? How was your birthday?
Or small cells of terrorists who are determined to kill the innocent and are willing to die.
Yeah, but I suit and tie on. How about you?
Keep going after ISIL aggressively across every front of this campaign. Our air campaign continues to hammer ISIL targets. More than 14,000 strikes so far.
14,000 strikes.
100,000 sorties, including those hitting the
including
ISIL in Raqqa and in Mosul.
And in Mosul.
Contrast to ISIL, which uses civilians as human shields, America's armed forces will continue to do everything in our power to avoid civilian casualties. With our extraordinary technology, we're conducting the most precise air campaign in history.
In history, Mr. PINKSHORTS.
Civilians of Syria
Ryan
and
Clip,
Iraq
hello.
Suffering the most.
U.S. history.
Who need to be saved from ISIL's terror.
So
when there are allegations of civilian casualties, we take them very seriously.
Alligators.
We want to find the facts, to be transparent, and to hold ourselves accountable for doing better in the future. We continue to take out senior ISIL leaders and commanders. This includes ISIL's deputy Minister of War, Bassem Mohammed al-Bajari, a top commander in Mosul, Hatim Talib al-Hamdani, and in yet another significant loss for ISIL,
how about you?
Umar al-Shishani.
New kids on the block.
None of ISIL's leaders are safe, and we're going to keep going after them. On the ground in Iraq, local forces keep pushing ISIL back. In a major success, Iraqi forces with coalition support
we have a left-hand shot.
Fallujah.
We're repeating everything he said, so we can't switch it later.
The Euphrates Valley, and Iraqi forces retook the base at Kayara, just 40 miles.
No re-editing.
Now the last major ISIL. Given the success, the additional 560
what's the temperature outside?
Personnel that I ordered to Iraq.
Then we have to repeat everything it says.
Will help turn this base into a logistical hub and launch pad for Iraqi forces as they push into Mosul.
Meanwhile,
in Syria, a coalition of local forces backed by our Special Operations Forces
Special
and airstrikes,
Operation
continues to
Forces.
take the fight to ISIL as well.
No re-editing.
The coalition is fighting its way into the town of Manbij, a gateway for ISIL fighters coming in and terrorists heading out to attack Europe, which is why ISIL is fighting hard to hold it. As ISIL is beaten back, we're gaining vast amounts of intelligence, thousands of documents, thumb drives, digital files, which we will use to keep destroying ISIL's networks and stop foreign fighters. We also continue to intensify our efforts against Al-Qaeda in Syria, which, no matter what name it calls itself, cannot be allowed to maintain a safe haven to train and plot attacks.
On phones.
I do want to step back and note the broader progress that has been made in this campaign so far. 2 years ago, ISIL was racing across Iraq to the outskirts of Baghdad itself, and to many observers, ISIL looked invincible. Since then, in Iraq, ISIL has lost at the Manbij Dam, at Tikrit, at Beji, at Sinjar, at Ramadi, at Heat, at Rubba, and Fallujah. In Syria, ISIL's lost at Kobani and Tel Abyad, and the Tishrin Dam and al-Shaddadi. ISIL has lost territory.
Remember to choose your favorite song. Last month, last day.
All major transit routes.
Be creative.
And in both Iraq and Syria, ISIL has not been able to reclaim any significant territory that they have lost. So I want to repeat, ISIL has not had a major successful offensive operation in either Syria or Iraq in a full year.
We can't repeat. I'm sorry.
Even ISIL's leaders know they're going to keep losing. In their message
they're going to keep
followers,
losing.
They're increasingly acknowledging that they may lose Mosul.
They're going to keep losing. I'm so sorry.
Like they will lose them. And we'll keep hitting them and pushing them back. And
no more hitting them. No more hitting people.
In other words, ISIL
this is
turns out not to be invincible. They're, in fact,
indivisible.
Defeated.
And justice
we
for
do
all.
Recognize at the same time that the situation
I pledge allegiance to the flag
and this cannot be
of the
solved
United States of America.
That's why
and
last
to the
month,
Republic
the United States and countries
for
around
which
the
it
world
stands,
pledged more than $2
one
billion
nation,
in new funds to help Iraqis stabilize and rebuild their communities. That's why we're working with Iraq so that the military campaign to liberate Mosul is matched with humanitarian and political efforts to protect civilians and promote inclusive governance and development. So ISIL cannot return by exploiting divisions or new grievances. In Syria, as I've repeatedly said, defeating ISIL and Al-Qaeda requires an end to the civil war and the Assad regime's brutality against the Syrian people, which pushes people into the arms of extremists.
You can have some.
And its allies continue to violate the cessation of hostilities, including
we have apple
vicious
pie.
Attacks on defenseless civilians.
You want some apple pie?
Sieges against cities like Aleppo and blocking food from reaching families that are starving.
So, are you serious? What are you saying?
And the
take a 15-minute break.
Has rightly earned the condemnation of the world.
I have apple pie.
Russia's direct involvement in these actions over the last several weeks raises very serious questions about their commitment to pulling the situation back from the brink.
Your pie.
The U.S. remains prepared to work with Russia to try
to
reduce
apple
the
pie with extra
strengthen our efforts against ISIL and Al-Qaeda in Syria.
So, you let us take a 15-minute break with your apple pie cinnamon.
Given the deteriorating situation,
all right.
It is time for Russia to show that it's serious about pursuing these objectives. Beyond Syria and Iraq, we'll keep working with allies.
Hello, Bartholomew. This is Geico.
Tries to spread.
I apologize for voting. Apple pie offer.
National Court, we are conducting strikes in support of government-aligned forces as they fight to retake Sirte from ISIL, and we will continue to support the government's efforts to secure their country. In Afghanistan, one of the reasons that I decided to largely maintain our current force posture,
maintain our currency. This is an IMS high.
Another blow last month. How are you? Took out a top ISIL leader.
There's no more blows, no more punches, no more beer.
Finally, it should
no more free Metro PCSs.
No one knows this better than
no more freebies, no more beer.
Even as we need to crush ISIL
no
on the
subliminals. This is an IMS currency.
So long as they're
we are just watching the media and we're having
violence, then groups like ISIL will keep
we're fraternizing with the media. That's all.
Will continue to be.
We're fraternizing with the media.
At risk in getting sucked into the
Today's show is sponsored by BRUYx.
where we're always reacting
It's bankruptcy abbreviated. A lesson in sex.
That's why we're also working to counter violent extremism more broadly.
We've released BRUI only on Pink Shorts. There is 43 days left for the iPhone release. The iPhone is your new presidential candidate. Everyone get a round of applause.
When it loses its base in Raqqa,
it's the auxiliary port.
And we're going to keep working with partners, including
is it like Barry and Bartholomew?
Especially
online. Sounds like
to expose ISIL for
it's
what they
banana
are.
for Fana.
Murderers who kill innocent
auxiliary
people,
Hillary,
including Muslim families and children as they break their Ramadan fast.
43 days left.
Set off bombs in Medina near the Prophet's mosque.
Yeah, we saw that.
Sites in Islam.
We're Pink Shorts.
Moreover, we refuse to let terrorists and voices
of take off your time. You just told us the election.
Of diversity and pluralism that keep
Geico, I said that. Okay.
The reasons that
with an apostrophe auxiliary. I said it.
Okay. Talents of all of our citizens.
I'm not even take off your time, but I'm right.
Patriotic Muslim Americans who
this is national security.
Give their lives for our freedom. And I think the entire world.
It's national baloney. I said it.
I gotta Muslims across France joined their Catholic neighbors at mass.
National baloney.
Display of solidarity. Prayed
together. And I am this.
The greeting
take off your time, and it's right.
The message we echo in all of our
with extra cream, extra sugar. Your coffee.
And also with you. Now,
fine, Geico. I'll go.
I also want to say a few words on another topic.
Jeez Louise.
Health experts have been warning for some
I apologize, Mr. Barack.
We are now seeing the first locally transmitted cases of the Zika virus.
I apologize for national baloney.
In the United States. This was
predicted
and predictable. So far,
saying the correct names this morning.
We're taking this extremely seriously. Our CDC experts are on the ground working shoulder to shoulder.
Today's show is sponsored by ZONING.
Authorities. There's a very aggressive effort underway to control mosquitoes
LP.
there, and pregnant women have been urged to stay away
from the
neighborhood that we're focused on. We'll keep working as one team,
federal,
state, and local, to try to slow the spread of the virus. I do want to be very clear, though. Our public health experts do not expect to see the kind of widespread outbreaks of Zika here,
Zonaland,
HCL, or in Puerto Rico. The kind of mosquitoes
it does sound like a medicine. It sounds like something a medicine for,
we cannot be complacent because we do expect
it's a medicine for baloney.
Yeah. And even though the symptoms for most people are mild, many may never even know that
we're a mild version of the KKK.
We've seen that the complications for pregnant women and their babies can be severe.
Mild.
So I again want to encourage every American to learn what they can do to help stop
Zika
by going to cdc.gov. In addition, Congress needs to do its job.
By Zonaland,
HCL. Zika costs money.
We built
helping Puerto Rico deal with its Zika crisis costs money.
Woo.
Research into new vaccines. And by the way, NIH just announced the first clinical trials in humans. That costs money. And that's why my administration proposed an urgent request for more funding back in February.
How are you this morning?
Not only did the Republican-led Congress not pass our request,
he likes our voice
to cut it. And then they left the summer recess without passing any new funds for the fight against Zika.
It's cool.
Meanwhile, our experts at NIH and CDC,
it's a cool voice.
The folks on the front lines,
look at Leisha. Hi, Leisha. How are you?
By moving funds from other areas. But now the money that we need to fight Zika is rapidly running out.
Zika is AIDS,
isn't
it?
Getting critical. For instance, without sufficient
funding, you don't know what Zika is.
Clinical trials and the possibilities
it's not HIV. You're speaking too fast.
So this is not the time for
politics. Died. He just died.
More than 40 U.S. service members have
40 years ago.
Zika overseas.
Of Zika AIDS.
50 U.S. states we know of more than
tell us the secret on your birthday.
Connected to travel to infected areas, and that includes nearly 500 pregnant women.
Tell us the secret, birthday boy.
Puerto Rico, and now we have the first local transmission in Florida.
I would love to.
And there will certainly be more. And meanwhile, Congress
the office would extend it to you.
A lot of folks talk about protecting Americans from threats. Well, Zika is a serious threat to Americans.
Please say
especially babies, right now.
Right now.
Once again, I want to urge the American people to call their members of Congress and tell them to do their job. Deal with this threat. Help protect the American people from Zika. With that, I'm going to
take some from Harvey Levin.
I'm going to start
CNN attorney,
with
Time
someone
Warner,
who just assumed the
Television,
second most
Teletext,
powerful office in the land,
Worldwide.
Jeff Mason, the new Correspondents
He likes our
Association
voice.
president. Also, from
This is
Reuters.
anonymous.
Hardly powerful. And happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
As Islamic State loses territory,
Hello,
you
Mia.
and other
Hello.
officials have said
We
that
apologize
it's
for
becoming a
national
more
baloney
traditional
comment.
terrorist group.
I'm
Are
anonymous.
you satisfied that the United
She's
States
on a
and its
15-minute
allies have
break.
shifted strategy sufficiently to address that change? And secondly, given your comments this week
Today's
about
show is
Donald Trump's
BRUYx,
volatility and lack of
bankruptcy
fitness to be
protection,
president,
only at
are you concerned that you will be
MerriweatherA.Law.
receiving security briefings about ISIS
A
and other
lesson,
sensitive national
sex,
security issues?
experiment, XY chromosome,
I'm never
only at
satisfied
MerriweatherA.Law.
with
43
our
days to the
response,
iPhone 7
because
release.
if you're satisfied, that means the problem's solved, and it's not. So we just spent a couple hours meeting with my top national security folks to
Put it
look
here.
at what more can be done. It is absolutely necessary for us to defeat ISIL in Iraq and Syria.
Indivisible, with
It is
liberty
not sufficient,
and
but it is
justice
necessary.
for all.
Because so long as they have those bases,
Indivisible.
they can use their
In
propaganda
addition,
to suggest that
in
somehow there's still
subtraction,
some caliphate
and multiply,
being born.
with liberty
and that
and
can
justice
insinuate
for
itself then in the
all.
minds of
For
folks
all.
who may be willing to travel there or carry out terrorist attacks. It's also
for all.
destabilizing for countries in the region
WIVB
at a time when
for
the region's
all.
already unstable.
Indivisible.
I am pleased with the progress that
CDMA.
we've made on the
CDMA.
ground in Iraq and Syria. We're
Is that the
far
origin of
from
HIV?
freeing Mosul and Raqqa. But what we've shown is that
But
when
what
it
we
comes to
show,
conventional fights,
indivisible,
ISIL can be
with
beaten
liberty
with partners on the ground,
and
so long as they've
justice
got
for
the support
all.
from coalition forces that we've been
Indivisible,
providing.
with liberty and
In the
just do
meantime,
it
though,
for all. Nike.
you're seeing ISIL carry out external
Indivisible, with
terrorist acts,
liberty and
and
world
they've learned something.
trade
They've
for
adapted
all.
from Al Qaeda, which had a much more
Indivisible,
centralized operation
with
and
liberty
tried to plan very
and
elaborate attacks.
justice do it
And
for
what ISIL has
all.
figured out is that if they can convince
It's in this
a handful
song.
of people or even one person to carry out an attack on a
That's
subway
their own
or at a
liberty
parade
song. They
or,
turned their own song into the real
some
trade.
other public venue
Ezeka.
and kill scores of people
How
as
can you
opposed to
judge
thousands
anyone
of people,
else's music
it still creates the
with
kinds of fear and
liberty
concern
and just do
that
it for all?
elevates their profile.
How can I judge
So,
anyone else's music?
in some ways,
The indivisible,
these
cloak,
networks for smaller, less complicated
indivisible,
attacks
with
is tougher
liberty
because it doesn't
and
require as
just
many
do
resources
it
on their
for
part or
all.
preparation.
Oh,
But it does
say
mean that we've got to do
cancer
even
see
more
by the
to
dawn's early
generate the intelligence
LTE.
and
What's
to
the price
work with our
CDMA
partners
have? That
in
a
order to
CD
degrade
isn't
those
Hutch
networks. And
Tech
the fact is
Evergreen.
that those networks will probably
Chippewa
sustain themselves
with
even after
bright stars,
ISIL is
Sub-Zero's
defeated in Iraq and
nightclub,
Mosul.
and a
But what we've learned
Starbucks
from our
Delaware.
efforts to
Chippewa,
defeat Al Qaeda is
M&T,
that if we
Bank,
stay on it, our intelligence gets
ATM.
better.
Oh,
And we adapt as well.
so ho,
And eventually,
ho, ho,
we
Manhattan.
will dismantle these networks also. This is part of the
All
reason
the
why, however,
land
it is so
and
important for
the
us to keep our
free
eye on the ball
and the
and
whole
not
of
panic,
the deep
not succumb to fear.
hole.
Because ISIL can't defeat
That's a
the United
rendition
States
of the
of
Star
America
Spangled
or
Banner.
our NATO partners.
That way you can judge our music
We
and
can defeat
our
ourselves, though, if we
Star
make
Spangled
bad decisions.
Banner.
And we have to understand that
I'm anonymous and it doesn't compare.
and as tragic as
They
these
remix their own music.
attacks are,
And it sounds
that
like
we are
World
gonna
Trade
keep
and
on
HIV.
grinding away,
That's all.
preventing them
Thank you, Anonymous,
wherever we can,
for redoing the Star
using a
Spangled
whole
Banner.
government effort to
And Pledge of Allegiance. You've got
knock
it.
down their
Okay, judge
propaganda, to disrupt
yourself.
their networks, to take
Judge your own
their
music
key
and then look
operatives,
at us.
off the
Okay?
battlefield, and that eventually
That's a
we
CD
will win.
from the intelligence agency.
But if we
It goes in the butt, right? We gotta go.
if we start
Thank you, and IMS.
making bad
You're
decisions,
welcome.
indiscriminately killing civilians,
Sing their
for
songs,
example, in
okay?
some of these areas, instituting offensive religious
They're so
tests on who can enter the country.
catch-22-ish, you know?
Those kinds
They're
of
indivisible.
strategies can end up backfiring because in order for us to
Well, happy birthday,
ultimately win
Barry.
this fight, we
Oh,
cannot
3
frame this
days to
as
the new
a
iPhone.
clash of
President
civilizations between the West and Islam. That plays exactly
It's a
into the
pleasure
hands
talking to you. Today's show is
ISIL
sponsored by
and
ZONING, HCL.
perverse interpretations
Just
of Islam
approved from the
they're putting forward.
FDA. And
As far
similarly,
as
we
Mr.
built it
Trump,
40 years ago.
we are going
We'll
to
talk to you guys on the
go
Maria.
by the law.